What's up, everybody? I'm Wyatt Bagnall. Thanks for tuning in. And today I'm going to be going through my Week 7 predictions for the NFL. And we're going to start off with Thursday Night Football. We got the New Orleans Saints at the Arizona Cardinals. This is one of the games that's really difficult to pick for me because these are two sort of, I don't even really want to call them middling. They're trending towards the lower end. But I think I'm going to go with the Cardinals. They're getting some weapons back. And I think the Saints are just a little bit too depleted. And that's all it really comes down to. I won't be shocked at all if New Orleans goes in there and absolutely dominates them. But, this one's just tough to pick because they're both completely capable of just blowing it. So I'll go with Arizona, though, but I don't feel great about it. Next up, we got Cleveland at Baltimore. I'm going to go with the Ravens here. Cleveland has they just don't put anybody away, Baltimore hasn't done a great job putting people away, but Baltimore does a pretty good job of getting ahead of people, and Cleveland is not built at all to come from behind. So I'll go with that. I just don't believe that Jacoby Brissett can throw the Browns out of a hole, and I think the Ravens can put them in one, especially given that the Browns defense is just horrendously underperforming outside of Myles Garrett. Next up, we got Tampa Bay going to Carolina. As disappointing as the Bucs have been, the Panthers are the worst team in the league right now. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. If this is not a game that they dominate, though, I'm going to be feeling very, very bad about the Buccaneers. Next up, we got Atlanta going to the Bengals. I would love to see Atlanta win this, but this is the type of game that the Bengals will win against sort of a mediocre team that's kind of punching above their weight. That's sort of what the Bengals were last year, so who knows? Maybe Atlanta pulls one off on Cincinnati. But I just get the feeling that any team that's sort of below average on the whole, Cincinnati can beat, and any team that's above average, Cincinnati can't. So I'm going to take the Bengals. They're going to go up to 4-3 and be above 500 for basically the first time this year. Next, we're doing the Lions at the Cowboys. The Lions are just too damn inconsistent for me to pick them, so I'm going to go with Dallas. Dak is supposed to be back this week. I think this is a good game for him to get warmed up in because the Lions' defense is absolutely abysmal, and the Cowboys' defense is legit. They can tee off on Jared Goff, and that alone will probably stop the Lions' offense for the most part. I'm not sure if Amon-Ra St. Brown will be playing or DeAndre Swift or any of those types of guys who've sort of been in and out of the lineup. Hopefully they do make it interesting, but I think Trayvon Diggs can match up well with Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Cowboys front is strong and can contain their run game. The strength of the Lions offense sort of has been their line with the two tackles, Decker and Sewell, but you got DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons to contend with, and I don't like their odds. There are very few teams that I do like their odds. So, I think Dallas bounces back. They get back on track with this one, and this one could be in convincing fashion too. Giants at Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville is a weird place and weird stuff happens, but I'm going to buy in and pick the Giants this week. If you can beat the Ravens, you sure as hell can beat the Jaguars. Come on. They don't offer really any threat that the Giants can't handle, I don't think. If the Giants lose this game, then I'm going to be back on my thing of, are the Giants real? Yada, yada, yada. After beating the Ravens, I'm finally willing to give them some credit. Now just back it up. Come on, beat the Jags. Green Bay at Washington. As bad as Green Bay has been, Washington is worse. Way worse. So I think the Packers get a win. They might not look great. In fact, I'm counting on them still not looking particularly great. But Washington is flat out incompetent in basically every way. So I'm gonna go with the Packers to get back on track versus the Commies. There's not much more to say about that game. It's two teams that are floundering. One of them is just a more generally competent organization and franchise, and it's just more stable. So I'm going to go with the Pack. Colts at Titans. Big one. Really big one. These two teams have played each other once already. They're going to have played each other twice by week 7. So this ends the series for them this year. I'm going to pick Tennessee. I picked the Colts to win the division before this season, but they've shown me no sign that I should have any faith in that. They've looked incompetent even in the games they've won. And Tennessee, they started slow, but they've at least been consistent and have won 3 straight games. They know what they are. I don't think the Colts know what they are. And I think the Titans beat the Colts and sweep them for the year. And I think that basically locks up the South. I'm not sure that either one of these teams need a winning record to even win that division. All right, next up, Houston at Las Vegas. Vegas. I think Vegas is one of the better 1-4 teams I've ever seen, and Houston is one of the worst 1-3-1 teams I've ever seen. So yeah, I think Vegas gets this done. I think Vegas gets it done in impressive fashion. Their season is essentially over, but if they can string together a bunch of wins in an AFC that is sort of underwhelming, what it was expected to be, then they have an ever so slight chance of doing something, but it would have to happen this week, and it would have to happen the next several weeks. So I'm going to pick the Raiders to get on track. Not really a ton to talk about in this one. Houston's bad, and I think they sort of want to be bad, and Vegas is desperate. So Raiders all day. New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. Oh, man. What a season it's been for the Denver Broncos. This was a team that coming into the year, some people were picking to be a Super Bowl contender, and now we're all picking the Jets to beat them. The Jets have actually played well. They seem to be a year ahead in terms of their rebuild, mostly because a lot of their young pieces have stepped up right away and look really, really good. Most notably, Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. They look amazing. Quinnen Williams is on a tear this year. And I think the Jets defense has played well on the whole. The Broncos offense has played abysmal on the whole. And the Jets lock them up, and that alone's enough to beat them. I think this is a low-scoring affair because the Broncos defense is not going to give up a lot unless they have an uncharacteristically fluky day. So yeah, I'm going Jets. They come to Mile High and send the donkeys running. Kansas City at San Francisco. This was a game that could have been really interesting, but I have to see the injury report for the 49ers. And even if they were completely healthy, I'd probably still pick the Chiefs, but I'd pick them in a close one. If the 49ers aren't healthy, they stand zero chance. And the 49ers were not healthy last week at all, couldn't beat the Falcons. So I think Kansas City goes to San Fran and gets done, unfortunately. If they could just get most of their defensive pieces back, this game could become feisty, but I don't think they will. I would love to see them pull it out of the hat, but I think it would take somewhat of a miracle at this point. Seattle at the Chargers. Seattle's feisty. Chargers are lackluster, but finding ways to win. I'm going to pick the Chargers just based on roster. They're a more talented team. They're not better coached. Brandon Staley still makes some really mind-boggling decisions, but they're better everywhere. Like, maybe you could say the Seahawks have better receivers, sure, but other than that, they've got nothing on the Chargers. If the Chargers lose this game, I am full panic mode for them. I'm already viewing them as like the epitome of a pretender. If they can come in and beat up Seattle, which is a team they are better than, I'll start to feel a lot better about them heading towards the middle of the season and beyond. Pittsburgh at Miami. Oh goodness. I think Tua's supposed to play this game. So with that, I'm going to take the Dolphins. They've sort of floundered without their top 2 quarterbacks essentially, and even their third one getting hurt. But they got their top one back. They were 3-0 with them. I think that they're going to go back to their winning ways. And this was a team that their season could have been over, but because of the hot start, they're still alive. But in order to stay alive, they got to bounce back, and Pittsburgh is a good team to bounce back against unless you're Tampa Bay. And then finally, we got a barn burner, Chicago at New England. I think this will be another low-scoring affair probably. If it's not, it'll be because New England scores. The Bears' offense isn't going to do a damn thing. And with that said, the Pats will win this game. The Bears' offense just has no talent. They are an abysmal group. And the Patriots, for as untalented as they are on offense, they have an elite coach, and they are sort of playing above their level. They've done it against better teams than the Bears. They did it against the Browns. They did it against the Lions. I think both of those teams are better than Chicago. So I think that they win this one. And I'll say it's low scoring, but I'll say that like New England wins it like 20-10, something like that. Yeah, that's gonna be a game that we're all gonna wish we didn't see, but we all have to. And with that being wrapped up, those are my picks for Week 7. Thank you so much. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and have a great weekend of football. Peace.